I was diagnosed as type 2. Have you ever heard that as a type 2 or a type 1? I'm wondering why. I have heard Dr. Eric Westman speak about it once, very briefly. He just mentioned it, and I just watched this again last week. And so I just want to remind you that this is possible. And ask the question, how come doctors don't, and people in the carnivore world, which I'm carnivore, don't talk about this? It's interesting, right? And so, of course, it brings up, if you know anything about type 1 and type 2, I'm not going to tell you I know anything because I'm just a baby. I'm only my second year into my diagnosis. So, good morning. Hey, good morning. I have been thinking about you and wondering where you have been. How are you? What's going on in your life? So, pop into the room. Let me know what's going on for you. And share, share, and sharing is caring, okay? I want to tell you that it doesn't make sense. If you know anything about type 2 diabetes, the difference is, okay, and type 1, now I am the same specimen, having both, experienced both diseases. Can you please tell me the logic? If you know anything about the diseases, okay, he says, I have, oh goodness, I was wondering what happened to you. I thought something must have happened. He at the crossroads says, I had a stroke about a month ago. My goodness, oh my goodness. You were always telling me how to get healthy and live more healthy. I wish I would have listened. Okay, sweetheart. So how are you doing? What's going on for you now? So you had a stroke. I'm so sorry to hear that, but I'm happy you're here. Are you in the hospital? Are you at home? Okay, so while at the crossroads is telling us about how he's just had a stroke, and I'd like to hear how you're managing yourself now, and how this has changed your eating style and your lifestyle. Anyway, so 2 years ago, in July 24th, that was about my 2-year anniversary of having diabetes. The first 6 months of my diagnosis was type 2. Now, type 2 diabetics, they create insulin, okay? Type 1 diabetics don't create any, or they create just a little bit, right? Now, type 1, they say, is an autoimmune disease, but type 2 isn't. So can you please tell me, yeah, it's just an interesting. I don't know anything. I don't profess to know anything about diabetes. I'm just obsessed with it because, well, I might as well, make it my life because it is my life. And I like to choose to say, okay, God gave this event, okay, 2 events, type 2 and type 1, as a gift so that I can share my story and help, right? What better way to take the bull by the horns, for lack of better terms, and say, okay, well, this is a gift, and I can now share this with the world, and now we can learn from each other. So, regardless who you are, okay, no matter what disease you have, you're going to want to check with your doctor as well, because I don't profess to be a doctor at all, but all of our bodies need magnesium. Unless for some reason you're allergic to magnesium or allergic to vitamin D, I cannot see any reason why you would not need them. But you might want to check with your doctor, or check out Dr. Berg, because I really love studying all of his work. As a diabetic, in my experiments, I have seen that boosting the magnesium for myself, like they say, like maybe, I don't know, 200 a day or something. But I take, last night for the first time, I took 1,000 in 24 hours. I took 1,000 milligrams. 800 is what I need for sure to get a remotely good good sleep. Okay, so last night, so I've been changing. I'm always experimenting, right? But just to see what I can tweak. So anyway, sleep has been an issue. If you're diabetic or if you're moving through any kind of chronic illness, you know, sleep is going to be an issue. Would you say that at the Crossroads? So at the Crossroads is in the room right now, and he told us that he's just had he had a stroke about a month ago. Now it's so bright here I can't see, can't read, but vitamin D and magnesium. For me, I choose, because Dr. Berg said, magnesium glycinate. Okay, magnesium glycinate is gentle. It's not going to make you have disaster pants, right? If you take citrate, that's going to give you disaster pants, and the other ones. Anyway, I already did the research, but make sure you do your research too. Check out the what Dr. Berg says about magnesium and how it's good for you. But for diabetics, especially because you're peeing all the time, okay? Because we're peeing all the time, because our body's trying to get rid of the sugar in the bloodstream, we're losing nutrients all the time. All the time we're losing nutrients. So it's good if we can, make sure that we're replenishing everything, like your electrolytes, your sodium, your potassium, your magnesium, right? So I'm getting it. I'm tomorrow I'm going to do a 48-hour fast. This is my goal, is to do 48. I'm attempting to just tone up a bit more. I'm apparently 133 yesterday, so I just don't move. The scale does not move. I don't gain weight. You know, the highest I went a couple weeks ago was 135, but I have not seen that in years. But it generally has not moved. My weight just doesn't move, which is a good thing. I'm not gaining weight, so whatever I'm doing is working. Just by eating the meat, meat and dairy, a bit of dairy. The more dairy I eat, I don't even bring cheese into the house for the most part anymore. I do sometimes, but that's just like candy to me. So, so if you've had a stroke, I don't know anything about strokes, but I do know that diabetics, you know, we can be prone to heart problems, right? So it's good to learn as much as you can about the heart. Eat the heart. Eat what comes to me for a stroke. I'm gonna look into that at the Crossroads. But I remember being in China and hearing that, you know, whatever ailment, and I don't know if this is true or not, but whatever ailment, this is what my memory tells me, what I remember, is that whatever ailment, like if you eat that organ, it's going to help the corresponding organ, right? So if you eat liver, it's going to help your liver. Eat your heart, it's going to eat your heart, or help your heart. This is what I remember. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I seem to remember. So lately, I just want to document I'm back. So I'm going to be eating a bit more today. I ate 4 eggs and I mixed. When it's just plain beef, like too much creatine is too much for my body. Okay, I tried that. Like it happens with meat and also with like too much protein is deadly. This is what I've heard from Dr. Kiltz, my trainer. I'm taking his carnivore, keto carnivore coaching course, and so it's taught by Dr. Nelson, and it's going very well. But having maybe a bit more fat, you know, maybe decreasing the protein might be better for you. And I know this because I can test it on my body with my my glucose monitor, right? So more fat than protein, right? And so it's good to eat, like for me, I play around with the fat too, like, because if you're gaining weight, you might be have saturated your cells. You might have had just too much fat, and you can just, if you're not, the needle isn't moving, then maybe you've just saturated that and you're good with fat. So maybe you can just, because you've already got fat on your body, but have eating a little bit of fat, like in the form of butter or ghee, you know, have a little bite of that before you start your meal. Might help with several different things, but it might help satiate you so you don't overeat. Okay, so how many of you are overeaters? Right? Like, when it's like, for me, there's abstainers, right? Some people need to abstain, just like from alcohol, right? You can't tell an alcoholic. Can you tell an alcoholic, hey, just have a beer? It's no problem, right? What are they going to do? How many of you have known an alcoholic, right? My birth mother was an alcoholic, and so that was led to my gift of adoption, right? Because she was too sick to care for her children. So, you know, I saw firsthand, and I learned at a very young age, the power of and detriment of addiction within families, right? And how that spreads within families, right? Not just one. Usually it's, you know, it's many, you know, often in a family of addiction. I mean, not always, but sometimes it, you know, it spreads within the families, within generations, right? So so how often, you know, would you tell, now we talk about an addiction, person who drinks or maybe smokes pot or does crack or whatever kind of drug that you have chosen, how often would you say to them, well, just have one, just smoke one, or whatever you do with crack, I don't know, you smoke it or you snort it, I don't know, just snort one thing of that, no problem, you're not going to get addicted? Or would you say, oh, just smoke one doobie, you're not going to get addicted, right? Some people can do some things now and then, like smoke a joint now and then. Some people can do that. But if you know yourself that you can't do that, then you have to make a decision. Like, when is the point? You don't have to do anything, right? When do you make that decision where, okay, if I have this cookie, cake, or ice cream, how many is it going to lead to, right? I am very guilty of and just before my diagnosis, actually, I remember I ate 6 donuts. I stopped by my friend's house, and I had already had diabetes, of course, probably about 10 years beforehand. I probably already had type 2 diabetes, but I never went to the doctor. But anyway, so I didn't realize it, but I probably managed it because I didn't eat any carbs, right? I would just eat muffins every now and then the odd time have 6 donuts, right? Because it's just like, something, it was like you open the floodgate, just like when you have a drink and you're an alcoholic, you're not just gonna have one, right? So I've got 6 donuts in front of me, and this is just before my diagnosis. I had a couple binges where I you know, went to my friend's house and we hung out, and then maybe a couple weeks later I went out with another friend, and him and I had dessert, we had cheesecake, we had, you know, just, so it wasn't very often because I was quite health conscious. I like to be thin. And I was thinner, you know, I had no fat on me before my diagnosis. I had no fat. But now, thank goodness, I have insulin. It gives me fat. And if you've seen the previous video on my shorts, you'll see what I look like and how far I've come. Oh my goodness. So I'm not here to tell you what to do, because I know you're going to do what you need to do. You're going to do what you do and what you think you're capable of doing in that moment, right? Sometimes our brains are so messed up because of our diet and our behavior that we literally cannot make decisions. We don't have the capacity. The neurons in the brain aren't firing, you know, at the best capacity for us to even make the decisions or communicate in a healthy way. We do not have to accept bad behavior from people, but we can also, you know, notice that, okay, they're struggling because of this. Doesn't mean it gives them you excuse to accept bad behavior from anybody. But it gives us a bit of a knowledge into why. In order, like if you hear about, I'm obsessed with the subconscious mind, and in order for us to make a conscious change, to change a behavior, we have to be conscious that we actually have that behavior, right? And in order, and like, oh, okay, well, it looks like I'm an addict. Nobody else is drinking all these beers. Oh, maybe I'm the addict. Or maybe nobody else is standing around the dinner table at the buffet dinner and eating 10 plates of donuts. Oh, but I am. Okay. So once we have that, that's a great opportunity for change. That's when we're like, oh, okay, we can change now. That's great. I can change because I've actually admitted to myself that I've got a problem, right? So anyway, that's all for now. Make sure you get your magnesium and your vitamin D. So every morning, get outside, go for a walk. You don't need to get crazy with exercise, okay? Don't get crazy with exercise. You can walking is a great exercise, okay? If you're getting crazy with the exercise, thinking you got to go for a run, it's not true. What happens is your body. Of course, this works for some people. You can see it in their bodies, but I just wonder how that's going to affect them over a long time. Like, really, I don't know. It works for some people. Some people just can't, right? You're going to, because it's a release of cortisol. So when you get cortisol, like if you're a diabetic, you'll know the term feet on the floor. Like as a type 1, you got your CGM, you got your monitor, this thing on my arm, if you can see it right here. You put your feet on the floor often, the first thing that's going to happen is your blood sugar is going to go up. Well, this is the same thing that happens with everybody when we're stressed or the body is giving you a rush of sugar because it doesn't know if you're going to need to run like heck or maybe, okay, or fight a lion. So that's the signal that I'm low. Timing is everything, okay? This is what I'm going to end with here. Timing is everything. When you're giving yourself insulin, you might want to try, depending on how you eat, maybe you might want to extend the time. Maybe you normally give yourself a shot of insulin like 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes before, and you're gonna have a whole bunch of carbs. You might want to give yourself, try 20 minutes, try 30 minutes, try 40 minutes. I've tried 1 hour before, right? Because the thing is with me, I get full very easy. So a lot of times I don't eat enough in a day and I'm still gaining weight. So I'm like, this, not gaining weight, but not losing. So I just got to figure stuff out, right? And it's stress. Try the timing of your insulin. You might extend it by 5 minutes, but keep the meal the same for a week, okay? Keep your meals the same for a week. The only way you're going to figure anything out is by keeping consistent. Doesn't matter what you eat. I eat carnivore, keto carnivore, mostly carnivore, right? Meat, eggs, bit of dairy. So just keep it the same and fluctuate the timing. Timing is absolute everything. If you're frustrated about how to keep your blood sugars in control, keep everything consistent and move the time frame of your insulin. So okay, I'm eating the same thing, eating at the same time. And now I'm going to just maybe go 5 minutes sooner, 10 minutes sooner, or 20 minutes and 40, depending, and just take it in those small increments. And then you're going to find the sweet spot. Every day your hormones are going to be different like you're going to have different levels of cortisol because different things are going to be happening in your life. And this happens with everybody. You're going to get a shot of cortisol, which is a stress response, right? So doing everything that you can to alleviate the stress. Going for a walk, appreciating, getting into prayer. Thank you, God, for my life. Thank you, God, for my life, right? Thank you. Gratitude, the attitude of gratitude really does work. Like, it might sound hokey to some of you, but it's not, right? Whether you believe in God or you pray, whatever that is to you. I mean, you may pray to the little dragonfly that goes by. That is God. Whatever it is to you, pray to that flower. Maybe, I don't know what it is that you believe, nor do I want to judge you because that's not my job. Okay? But whatever it is that you feel grateful for in your life, go there, because the body responds, right? The body literally responds to gratitude. The body literally responds to negative stuff. Like, it's so cool because if you get a CGM, you can actually test this on yourself and test your emotion and what it does literally to the chemistry in your body. Okay? I hope you have a fabulous day. Thank you so much for listening. And so, yeah, I did touch on the fact that I was type 2 and it turned into type 1. Yeah, so type 2, within 6 months later, I was diagnosed as type 1 because I refused to take the insulin because I'm like, well, if I make insulin, I'm a type 2, then why do I need insulin? So I refused the insulin, and it was horrifying going through that experience. But I was determined, but also in denial. As you can see, I wasted away to 84 pounds because I refused to take the insulin. Because I'm like, I'm going to prove something. So it wasn't, they called it a disordered eating. I would not call it disordered eating because I was eating, okay? I needed insulin, and I was in denial and grieving the change of my body. So I would call it definitely denial and grief and pride, ego, right? Because I was going to prove that I could heal myself from type 2. But there's still, it's just a very interesting thing to observe. Why do they call it, oh, your type 1 is your body is attacking itself? That doesn't make sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense to you? I'm the same specimen that had type 2 and then turned into type 1. The fact that, yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. Upon hospitalization, they then told me I was type 1. But through that progression of 6 months, my body was wasting away, which means that the body was not making insulin over time, right? So how can that be? I don't know. I really don't know. But I welcome your opinions. Anyway, I'm home now, so I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time. So tomorrow, thank you for making me accountable. I'm going to share the story in the next couple of days, my experience of the 48-hour fast. See how long I can go, right? I may have to give myself some butter, like have some butter in my coffee or some cream in my coffee, which I know will keep me above, it should keep me alive for the next couple of days. But the idea here is I want to see how low I can go within and not be not die, right? And also I want to have increase my stem cells, right? And experience the benefits of fasting. So anyway, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Sharing is caring. If this helps you in any way, please share it with the world. Thank you.